Welcome back to Dummy Boy Finance. I'm Dummy Boy, and in this video we're going to go over Humbl. So right now we're looking at Humbl here on the daily time frame, and Humbl continues to consolidate in this 40 cents range. There are two levels of support that we have been watching on the stock, and right now we are holding the second last one, which is at around 41 cents. Our final level of support comes in at around 14 to 15 cents. This is worst case scenario. I don't even see the price getting to this level, but if we do, that would be the worst case scenario. I would have a buy order set at this level. Personally, right now, this is the bottom for us in Humbl. And when we're looking at this stock as a startup, I also have mapped out this descending triangle, which I personally believe that we will break out of to the upside here when this concludes in the middle of January. And so when I'm looking at Humbl, I look at our RSI still at a cool 43, still tons of room to the upside. If I bring this to our weekly time frame to just look at where we are, weekly RSI is at a 34. This means over the last several weeks, we have been in a strong downtrend, which is very evident by our stock price. And so we are getting close to a bottom with this one. And I think this is a key level of support for us. If the price was to get down to this last level of support, RSI would be well oversold even on the weekly. And so that would be the greatest buying opportunity you could get on this stock. But that hasn't happened yet, so we can't say that's going to happen. But what we do know is that we have been holding this as a key level of support, and I do think this is going to be a continued level of support that we have to hold. And I do think there's going to be a lot of buyers at this level, me being one of them. And so when I look at price action right now, another thing I want to talk about is the volume. So if we look back right here and we're paying attention to these bars, when we look at our initial run up back here in 2020, we were moving on extreme volume. Our volume is going nuts on the stock. But if we fast forward to now and we look at our volume in the last couple months, it has been nothing compared to what we have seen. So all this means is that a lot of the longs are still holding their positions. We have some day traders trying to make a profit off a couple of pennies, but overall we have yet to see too much selling. And this is exactly what you like to see for a stock in a downtrend. You want to see downtrend on low volume. That does indicate that the stock has a lot more room to the upside. If, however, your stock is going down and the volume is also high, then it seems like the stock is going to stay in a downtrend and there's more downside pressure. Whereas with this case, we have a very minimal volume on a downtrend, meaning that any spike in volume can surge this share price at any given time, meaning any catalyst that Brian Foote comes out with, if we see a beat on our revenue, if we see a very nice acquisition, we can see a quick turnaround in this stock, and that is why Humbl is one of my favorite plays to be in. I think this is going to be a once-in-a-generation investment for people who have yet to get into it. This is going to capitalize on our digital economy in every aspect, whether it's buying and sending your cryptocurrencies, whether it is buying and selling NFTs, whether it's ticketing, whatever it is, these guys are conquering this entire Web3 space. And I think as we start to normalize this digital economy, Humbl is going to keep moving forward and they're going to move to the forefront. Another thing that I want to mention is that Humbl is still on the OTC market. Most established companies will have years and years of track record when it comes to revenues, and then they finally IPO, and that is when their share price is always at a very high point, whereas Humbl is allowing us, the little guy, get into the stock before all the institutions take over. So usually when you buy into an IPO, all of the smart money has already locked up their shares, institutions have already got their pick, and that is why when a stock IPOs, it shoots up so much higher than the initial price. It's because the institutions have got first dibs. When we're looking at Humbl, because this stock does not have a track record of revenue and it only recently started, we are getting an opportunity to get into this play before institutions do. So when I look at the timeline of this stock and I look at where the stock could be in 10 years, we are right there at the beginning, and I believe that anytime you can get any stock at the beginning. So another thing I want to look at is our MACD here on the weekly. So if we look at what we're doing now, we got a bullish crossover right here on our MACD, and we did get a bounce off of our signal line. So Humbl actually does have some bullish momentum, but we are not in an official uptrend until this orange line gets above this 0 line. So we still have tons and tons and tons of room to the upside with this one. We are nearing bottom levels. That is indicated by our RSI here at a 34. We know when you're at 30 unless you are oversold. And so right now we're holding this level of support extremely beautifully. We have been moving down on very low volume, but when we moved up, we were on extremely high volume. So that shows that this stock can turn at any given moment in time. And if you hold this long enough, there are going to be plenty of catalysts along the way that will catapult this price at any given time. And so if you hold long enough, you will be there to experience those jumps. And I'm going to be here because I'm here for the long term with Humbl. I believe that this stock is going to be a massive gainer when all is said and done. I believe a decade from now, we're going to be so glad that we were buying at these levels. And this is going to be a stock that honestly blesses your entire family, whether it's your children, your grandchildren. So I'm going to take us back to the daily time frame, and I want to check one last thing, and that is going to be our SMAs. And so here we are looking at all of our SMAs. Our price action now is still below all of our SMAs. What we need to see is the price get above this yellow. We need to see the price hold this yellow, and then we eventually need to start to go up. Otherwise, right now we are still at very nice buying zones in my opinion. We have yet to break over this yellow, so we still do have tons of resistance above us. However, look for this one to recover. It may take a while before you start to see large runs up with this stock, but remember, at any given time this can jump, and so if you hold long enough, you will be rewarded. Whereas in the short term right now, this is a consolidation zone for Humbl. Average down on this one if you're down on it. Otherwise, this was a solid day for Humbl. And so there you guys have it. This was my quick little update here on Humbl stock. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to like. We are on the road to 10K subs, so if you made it to this point, feel free to hit that subscription button. This is Dummy Boy Finance. I'm Dummy Boy, and I'll see you guys in the next one.